Hey everyone, it's Lexi. So in today's video I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, and this is the new book in her spin-off series. So the Verminite Chronicles is probably one of my favorite YA fantasy series. So this one takes place 6 years after the events of the last book took place, and it follows Cassie, who is part of the Raton, I think it's how it's pronounced, which is part of the Queen's elite kind of guards, and she is sent out with a task to find the general, like commander, who escaped at the end of the last book. And there was a sighting that took place in this one country here, so that she ends up crossing paths with Jace, who is essentially the king, or they call it like a prezi. They have different words for it, who just recently became like the head of this area, and their stories kind of become intertwined, and it kind of takes off from there. So this is a very big book. It's just over 500 pages, and I flew through this. I started reading it on Wednesday and I finished it on Sunday, so I read it over the span of 5 days, and I loved it. I loved being back in this world. I love how we got introduced to these new characters that are they're so unique. They have so much to them. There's a lot of depth to them, and they're very unique. And Cassie is very strong-willed, but she has her flaws, and we get to kind of uncover that more as the book goes on. And I really like that, and I like how we also kind of get some references to characters that were in the first trilogy, and a couple of them make appearances in here as well, which I really liked. And kind of being back immersed in this world, we get to kind of uncover more about this like continent essentially. So we get introduced to Thor's Watch, which is kind of on the northwestern side, but not something that we weren't really shown a lot of in the previous books. And there were so many twists and turns in here. I was really interested to see where this book was going, and it kept me on the edge of my seat. Like I said, I read this very, very quickly, and yeah, the ending of this book, oh my gosh, you guys, like, it's literally a page and a half, and it's like, oh my god. So I'm interested to see like what the second book brings, and it's really unique. Like I said, it has a really good cast of strong female characters in here, and especially with Cassie and Jace, I like seeing how their relationship kind of blooms, and kind of the internal, because it is told from both their perspectives, we kind of see like their like interpretation and their thoughts and feelings of what's going on and all the stuff going on. And there's a lot of characters in here that we get introduced to that I fell in love with right from the beginning, and they were so fun. I love them all, and I'm interested. Like I said, I'm dying to know what happened. And again, with Mary E. Pearson's writing, I find that I can get really immersed in this world, and she can flip seamlessly between the two perspectives, and it doesn't feel choppy and all of that stuff. And there are so many suspenseful parts in here that kept me on the edge of my seat, and like I said, so many twists and turns, and I just loved it. This is probably my favorite fantasy book that I've read this year by far. Definitely a 5 out of 5 star read for me. But yeah, I loved it. I loved being back in this world, and I like how it kind of ties in some of the loose ends that were kind of happened with the first trilogy, and they're addressed in here now, and like this is what's happening 6 years afterwards. So I loved that part, and this cover is just stunning. So I was really, really excited. This is definitely probably one of the most like excited books that I was one of the books I was most excited for that'll be coming out this year. So I'm really excited for this sequel, which will hopefully be next year. But like I said, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was a stunning book, and if you were a fan of the first trilogy, you won't be disappointed, I guarantee you. Or if you're interested in picking this up, I recommend you read the Kiss of Deception series first, and then pick this up, because there's a lot of things that are referenced in here that you wouldn't really get the references of. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. It was truly, truly amazing, and I highly recommend you check this series out if you haven't already, or pick up kind of this new book in the spin-off series. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys!